On today's episode of Taking 5, we have part 2 of our interview with Juniper, local rock band from the heart of Wellesley, Massachusetts, a little suburb outside of Boston. And thank you guys for bearing with us as we transition this new format. So on these new ones, rather than just, starting in the middle of an interview and you have no idea what the fuck's going on, I'm going to just, talk for like 2 minutes and blabber on, and you can fast forward if you don't like it, like you usually do on the beginning of a podcast. Maybe if we ever get big time, this is where an advertisement will go. Maybe I'll just advertise random products that I like using. We'll figure it out. But for the time being, here's part 2 of our interview with Juniper.
So my question, I have another question for you guys. So obviously Juniper has had different kind of members. You guys have gone through different phases. How do you feel like, what was that moment kind of push to get you guys where you are right now? Like in terms of band members, sound, like what was that defining moment for you guys?
I think I'll start this and then take it. But I think like at the end of the day, like people will come and go out of your lives, and I think every single time you have that interaction, it's a good thing because it's just something that you're learning. So like when there are different members, because I've been Juniper since the beginning. Yeah. But like seeing all these members kind of come and go has been really impactful on me because like they've been able to impart like lessons I've learned of like, oh, I shouldn't have a conversation like that if it's going to be about this, or like just ways to handle things, like because at the end of the day there's 5 people in this band, and like being able to corral everybody to do one thing is really hard. Yeah. Like working with 5 schedules is a really hard thing to do. Yeah, very, very. And so like especially when we're 19, 20 years old. I mean, like,
opinions too. Yeah, you definitely said schedules are really hard to like keep like all things considered, but like even opinions too. Just real quick is like that 5 people in a band is like amazing because of like that's 5 people's worth of ideas that come out. Yeah. That's also like 5 people's worth of like.
Do you write everything together, or do you like does one person write a song?
Scotty wrote the big bulk of this new album, but the writing process was definitely cool because even like Jay and Jim were really great with it too, because a lot of writing. Not a huge amount, but definitely a good amount of writing and swapping and changing happened in the studio, which was really cool. So it was like kind of like we had like this idea of like what the melody line would be, or we had an idea of what the keys line is going to be, but like each member will like really bring like their personal, their personal energy to it. Yeah. And it's like, it's great because like, say Scott will be like, this is how I hear that melody line, or I'll be like, Seb, this is how I hear that keys line, and then they'll lay it down, and it's just so much better than you could ever like have articulated into words. It's great. And I think it's really cool.
But to go back to your question, I think because the band had like it's almost like it's a time you can look back at our past releases, and it's almost like a chronological time like history of like what we've done and like how like our music has changed. And I think, like, when I knew that this current group of 5, because this current group of 5 essentially, like, really first began, like, in, like, February of 2019 with the release of Regret. And I'll never forget, like, the first time that we ever, like, played, like the 5 of us actually played music together, like, 30 seconds in, like, we stopped, and I, like, sat, because I, like, literally just had to stop everything and be like, does anybody else just, like, feel, like, the tangible energy in this
such
room
an
right
oh shit moment.
Like, it was literally, like, one of those moments where I was truly, like, oh, my God, like, this, like, I could, like, literally see this happening for,
so
like, 4 years.
So that was your movie moment.
Yeah, because
that
the
was
thing
your
is
movie moment.
because, like, it's not like I hadn't gotten it right before with other people, but, like, at the end of the day, like, you can't, if, like, we're coming back to, like, the early part of the conversation, we're like, like, how passionate are you about this? Like, I am the most passionate I could be about this, about anything.
Right.
But, like, you can't put that passion on other people or try and have other people match you on that, because at the end of the day, like, everybody has what they want to do, and you got to respect that.
Yeah.
And so, like, some people, like, were super into it, but, like, they just kind of wanted to play, like, small venues and cover music and have fun doing that, which is not, like, I'm not disrespecting, like, that's a ton of fun, but it's not what my end goal is.
You wanted more. You wanted a little bit more passion, a little bit more like forward motion.
And so this is the first time with us 5 that like I haven't had to project my passion onto other people.
It's just been shared.
It's just been like a
that's such a good
beautiful like
feeling.
inspiration of like just like
it's
like
cool.
a creative baby. It's just like we've nurtured, and it's like this. It's so cool, dude.
Creative.
It's cool when you find the right group of people. And I feel like it takes some people just like luck, not I wouldn't say luck into it, but get into it like right away and they're like, oh yeah, this is perfect. But then sometimes like you have a situation where like you're with a few people in the band and maybe you're just starting to play and whatnot, and then one person's like, oh my god, like I want to keep going, I want to start touring, I want to do all these other things, and then the other people are like, oh, like I have other shit going on.
Yeah, because
Whoa
the
there.
band's been around for 2 years, but this is the past 7 months. I mean,
Right.
I mean, like for people like that are going to be listening, like it's not like it is not easy. Like,
Yeah.
it is like there are a lot of things that need to go into it, and you have to be smart, and you have to like be respectful and kind to people, and listen to people, and like understand that like at the end of the day, like you need to view yourself as an individual, and like even though it is a group, like we all need to be like making sure that we're taking care of each other and like what each other's dreams are. And like, because at the end of the day, like Cam probably has a different interpretation of what at the very end of the day, like we want to be doing.
Cam, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
But,
I
like,
know.
but-
Cam,
Put on the spot
God.
now.
But-
Spotlight.
But like, or maybe I'll rephrase, but like maybe we have the same vision of an end goal, but we have a different vision of how it's going to get there.
Right.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
like,
yeah.
but what's really cool about it is like how we can like maybe contest on some things, but when we come together, like at the end of the day, it's always going to be moving forward. Like
Right.
like John Mayer said, "Don't stop this train." Like,
Oh,
it
John
always
Mayer.
moves forward.
Shout out
John
And that's it's
Mayer.
interesting that you say that because like like you said, we all have different ways of doing things and different ways of moving forward. But like at the end of the day, we can't always agree on the fact that like what we are doing, though it might not be what each person would do in an individual sense. Like it is to move forward. At the end of the day, it's
Right.
to move forward. It's to progress, to get better. So I think there's also this cohesive attitude that like though I may not agree with it, I definitely like can keep the faith that like you care about this as much as I do.
Yeah.
So, like if if you're taking it to this extent and you care that much.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, even if you guys are in a heated argument about something, or like people are upset, or like you can't figure out a show date, like the reason it's all happening is because you all care about it so
Exactly,
deeply.
exactly.
So like as long as you're aligned on that.
yeah, it's like
nothing
even
else
if we're
really
that's so
matters.
true. Even if we're arguing, it's like we're arguing. We wouldn't be arguing. Like
If
if,
you
we
didn't
didn't
care
care
so
about it, we
much,
just
yeah.
walk out the door. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Who gives a crap? Let's just walk out the door. But like the fact that we're still here and that we're still trying to get our way, like
Right.
validates to everyone that like this is something that really
the grind.
we really
You guys
care
are
about.
grinding.
And
Yeah,
the fact that we're
it's
all
cool.
like literally best friends, like
Yeah,
that's
it
something
helps.
that you can't sleep on is like because you can find good musicians anywhere. Like being like because I go to Boston University, but I just transferred to Boston University.
Oh, cool.
And like I'm where I was living on campus was like really close to Berkeley, and like and our guitar player is a Berkeley student, and like him and I have this conversation all the time. But like there and like because I play bass in the band too, like there are 50 million people that are better than me at bass.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, it comes down to like how do you treat other people, and like
Yeah.
and how is that relationship outside of music too? Because you spend a lot of time with each other,
Yeah.
not just doing music. And if that's not great,
Yeah.
then like everything else just falls through.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's with like any job or
Totally,
any like
totally.
roles where it's just like like you have to be a certain level. You have to have a certain level of skill at whatever instrument that you're playing or whatever like job you're doing. But after that, just like, hey, do I want to like hang out with you for multiple hours a day? You know what I mean? And if I don't, like, I don't give a fuck how good you are at bass.
Yeah.
It
So
all
that
goes
doesn't
back
come
to the
it.
like you gotta love what you do and you gotta love the people you're doing it with kind of thing, because otherwise you're
true.
just doing empty shit all day.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Word. Okay, so final question, and then we're gonna. You guys got time, right?
Yeah, I got time.
We usually like to end the podcast by playing a couple of games segments.
little
We're not
fun
really sure what
segments.
they call them.
What's this, Jimmy Fallon or
you
something?
into the loop.
like that.
But last serious
Try to
question before
spruce it
that
up.
is what's out next? You got the album coming out soon.
That was gonna be my question,
Damn it,
Josh.
Kate! I'm
God
sorry.
damn
Kate, do you
it.
want to ask it?
No, you're already on the track.
Okay,
you might as
cool.
well keep going.
Yeah. What's next? What's next for you guys?
After the album, you're asking?
So album's coming out sometime soon.
sometime soon. We
Cool.
might
We're
have, we might,
thinking-
we might
yeah.
have to leave it at that.
I like it.
It's interesting though
That way,
that
if
we
it doesn't
were
come out for like a year, it's like, hey, we didn't
exactly.
stay
You
long.
can't.
It
hold
won't
us
be
to
that long.
anything.
Though,
Yeah.
don't worry. Yeah.
Guaranteed less than a year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Guaranteed less than 6 months. It's interesting because earlier you talked about the off season and the summer and stuff like that and not have anything to put out. which is why we thought it would be great if we did have something to put out.
Right.
So we can't really say too much more than that, but we'll be hoping to put out. I can't call it an EP yet, I can't call it an LP or anything, but it should be a multi-song project coming out at some point this school year.
Love it.
That was the most vague you could get, but also
Dude, you guys
the
are
most
good. You guys are
direct
good. That's
answer.
like,
Wow.
I feel like if I was like 19, 20, I'd be like, guys, like we have an album, it's coming so soon. Here's every song on it.
Do you want to hear the name of it? Do you want to hear the name of it?
Yeah. Here's the artwork. Like
we
you
literally
guys
had
are
this
doing
guy on
smart.
who played a song he wrote that day. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know when it's coming out,
Play like
but
into the microphone.
Yeah, here it
we
is.
We were gonna like mic up his guitar and his vocals, and we were like, you're fucking
What an
nuts.
operation! What an operation! Yeah.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
was like, I don't even remember the tune of it. I wrote it like an hour ago. I was like, that's fine.
I was like, wait, let me just get it into my head again.
He literally had to do that.
We basically had
That's
a live writing session on the
fine.
podcast.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
five.
It was cool.
Taking five. Hey,
Taking.
watch it.
Sorry, I should excuse myself.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out of the podcast. We're gonna cut out all your.
No, but we have
audio.
so we do have a 12-song album that will be coming out very soon.
Nice.
And,
Ooh, look for it, guys.
That
We're
is
gonna promote it.
All major streaming
promoting.
services.
Yeah,
It's gonna get-
we've been working on some sort of like of our business model. We've been working on
Nice.
like a bunch of different like avenues for like promotional material and like garnering content. Because as I said, like when they go back to school, I mean James Madison's in Virginia. I go to school in Boston, so
Yeah.
like we can't be like, hey, taking a selfie at band practice because there is no band practice.
Yeah.
Like we need to be we need to have that content to like elongate the time
Yeah.
or like to keep or
Yeah.
to keep a what's the word I'm looking for. To take account for the fact that like we will not be together.
Right.
So like that's the stuff that we're focusing on right now too, and like reaching out to certain individuals who are in the industry, whether it be like a networking, like
Mm-hmm.
personal networking, or like just like on research on like looking at people. At the end of the day, like it just comes down to who you know and like how good you are at like talking to people.
Yeah.
Because
Social
like
skills are
I mean
important.
we're 19, we don't know really what we're doing on promotion. Because like everybody that we've talked to so far has like, or for the majority has been like, yeah, like we can help you out, but like you got to pay us $420. But it's like,
Exactly.
dude, like oh my god, like
Interesting-
$420,
interesting
like
number
that's
that you
like
picked there.
80% of my
your
net
example.
worth.
400.
You know what I mean?
A
So,
good-
like,
it's a good random
420,
number.
man.
It's a good random number.
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
It's so embedded in your brain. The
sorry.
lifestyle, the 420
Crazy.
lifestyle.
What do you guys do for promotion at this point?
Social media is huge.
Social media,
Like paid
Instagram.
promotions, Instagram ads. Yeah.
What's
but-
the handle? What's the handle?
at Juniper the band at Juniper the band.
Shout out.
Repeating at Juniper.
Oh my god,
the
Josh, they're
band.
taking our job.
They're good at this. You guys are good.
We got a Juniper the band.
Ever
here.
thought about hosting a podcast? Maybe Juniper the podcast.
That could
Juniper
be
the
sick.
podcast.
You could have Juniper the band, Juniper the podcast, Juniper the late night talk show.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
guys, the
It's just a whole brand.
possibilities
Juniper, the
are
late night,
endless.
they are
Brand
endless.
it, honey,
Yeah, yeah.
brand it.
I think if like to be real, like if there is something on like the business front that we are lacking, it's like we're 19 and we've been doing this for 2 years, meaning like when we were 17. So like we don't really have a lot of experience
right.
like in the
But
industry.
you're gaining it as we speak.
Yes, but like, and we're kind of learning on our feet, which is great. And I think that's like one of the best ways to learn is like experiential learning. But like,
Yeah.
I think something that we are looking for, and it's kind of on the back burner right now, but like, it's something that we're always thinking about is like that next step of like some sort of management or agent that can like take us to that next
yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Because all we like, something that we've all been saying is like the three things that we need most are time, resources, and funding. And if we can get those three things, I literally think we can do anything.
That's beautiful. All right,
a
that's
good
like the
little
perfect
formula.
way.
Perfect ending
Perfect
note.
ending. Go check out Juniper the band. Here for the first time, single out now,
Yeah.
which is, as I said before,
Dope.
I said a banger, but I'll go
Oh.
dope. I'll go dope.
You can go
Okay,
both.
I'm
You
I
can
do
go
sorry.
feel
both.
like bangers like I feel like it's I
a
jokingly
banger,
describe
man.
stuff as bangers. Like it's a fucking good song is what I would really like what I really mean because I feel like a banger is like Drake will come out with a banger.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
You know what I mean?
You know,
That's fair. It's
Like,
that's like a mindless.
John
track.
Mayer doesn't come out with bangers. John Mayer
he
just
comes up with like dope.
with just dope songs.
Yeah.
Hits, dope, whatever. I just feel like a banger
Really,
has to
whatever
be like
adjective you want to use.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, yeah,
connotation.
yeah.
The connotation is a little different.
Yeah.
I feel that definitely. Yeah.
or that. That's a soft banger. Okay, cool. So go check them out. We're gonna play a couple games.
Ooh.
Segments, games. I don't really know what to call them.
I think we've been bouncing between segments and games, but I think they are segments because it's like a little discussion. You know, it's a little chit chat.
Gegments, sames.
Stop.
Sames.
Yeah, split the difference.
No, I think
God, Kate's good as where we are. Okay, cool. All right, so the first one is called The Kids. This is what, so as we said, I'm really old. I'm 24. You guys are babies. You guys are 19
20,
and 20,
19.
right? 19 and 20. Jesus Christ.
I'm the oldest.
So young.
I'm
Kate
not the
is
baby
so old.
right now, which is
so
nice.
I'm really out of the loop these days. I was never really in the loop to begin with. But I'm really, really.
You don't
got
to put yourself too far down.
No, he
Never-
does. He
never-
does.
it's
He
okay.
Never
sets
in the loop,
himself
ever?
down. He's
Just like what the lingo is, what are the kids saying, what are the kids doing. So basically, Kate and guests, if applicable, will just explain things that I don't understand. So today's
last segment, it
Yeah.
was chunky shoes.
like
Sporting them
those.
today.
Okay.
Don't understand.
a
Today
vibe.
is Snapchat streaks.
Snapchat.
I don't get it.
streaks.
Why? I don't know if you guys do that Snapchat streaks. You know what I'm talking about? It's good if you don't.
I mean,
but
like, I'm not
good.
gonna front and say that I didn't ever try to keep a Snapchat streak.
Okay.
I'm not gonna try in front.
I'm not gonna try and front. We all kept that first Snapchat streak when it first came out. It was like, what happens if it gets to a year?
What happens?
But it's basically,
What do I win?
Are we explaining what they are?
Like, why is everyone so obsessed with that?
Why does it cause me severe anxiety every single night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It doesn't do that. But like,
It
yeah.
used to.
Okay,
It used to
so
for
here's
me.
the backstory. So I have an 18-year-old sister who's about to go to college. Shout out Talia.
Shout out to Talia.
Talia.
She's great. Just got her wisdom teeth out.
Talia Brown.
She's not
Word.
doing well right now. She's really
that's
not,
rough.
not
That's rough.
having a good
So
time.
so real shout out to Talia.
It's a real actual shout out to Talia.
We feel your
Real
pain.
sending
We know
energy
it. I
over
got
there.
two dry sockets. I understand.
I hope you're fine by the time this podcast comes out.
In 3 months.
Nah, it'll be less than that.
Hopefully.
Which comes sooner, this podcast release or Juniper album comes out.
Well, guess we'll have to
I guess
find
we'll-
out.
on next week's episode.
I guess we're competing.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a race.
Okay, so she when I got home from like college one summer, and she just like phone blowing up with Snapchats all the time, and I know this because I just see her like standing there, just going like duck face, other face. It's just like for minutes in a row, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm like just doing Snapchat streaks."
Keeping the streaks.
And she just like literally was like sending just a picture of like the side of her face to like 100 of her closest friends, right? And like 5 seconds later, she'd get one back. She'd send another picture, and I was like, What are you doing?
What is this
And
madness?
she, like her Snapchat just had like unopened snaps. Like you could scroll for like several seconds and there are still unopened snaps. And I was like, what? Like all of them are in the hundreds. So I was like, okay, that's just my sister being weird. Then I did like a teaching program with a bunch of high school kids after I graduated college. This is like 2 years ago now. All of them, like when they had to like turn their phones in at the beginning of the program. It was like a very strict program, so they didn't have them for a couple months. And they either did one of two things. They gave their phones to their friends at home and were like, keep my Snapchat
Keep your
streaks
streaks,
alive.
yeah.
Or they had a meltdown because they couldn't keep their Snapchat streaks alive.
It's true.
What the hell?
Explain it as simply like to go super simple. I'll use like a texting analogy. Imagine if you just like for every day that you and your friends sent a text back and forth to each other, you'd get a little number. Right. And like the number doesn't mean anything, but like knowing kids, it's like, I want to get a higher number. It's like,
It's like that dumb flip money game that was popular.
it's
like you're not
oh,
actually winning money. You're
yeah,
just
it's like,
flicking
oh, it's like,
something on
oh,
your
the number goes up. Oh, and you know what I mean? And it's like,
What happens
and
if I
it's
send
like,
another one? It goes up
exactly.
again.
And it's like, oh, so like to get it to 20, it takes me 20 days, you know? And it's just, the pressure is just like not wanting to lose that number, which is it's such a strange
The
concept
psychology
to
behind
understand.
Snapchat is riveting.
It's
It
fascinating.
is.
So-
Yeah,
okay.
it's
is
like
riveting.
the root of internet addiction, low-key.
Honestly.
It's
I
like
feel
really
like
bad.
I feel like it also stems from like that idea that you had snap streaks with like your friends or like kind of people you were like talking to, you know. So the longer the streak, the almost like more validated your relationship with that person was, you
Yeah.
know?
Even
Like,
though your relationship is, I'm
even
going to
though you
send you the
don't-
same picture
Yeah.
that I'm not even looking in the camera at.
It's
that I'm
literally-
also sending to 50 other people.
there's literally
it's
no
also-
text, it's just your face. It's like you are seeing the other person's face once every 24 hours, and because of that, you are getting the achievement of that number with the little flame emoji going up. And for some reason, people just like
love it.
really needed it.
Yeah.
And like
It's not even that they need it too, and it's like they're so resistant to lose it. It's like they can't. They're like, oh my god, if I lose this streak, like,
But-
it's almost like I lose this person,
So-
which like sounds terrible, but it's
I know.
like
It's
like
true, though.
exactly.
It's so
And so,
weird.
like, I remember at one point it was like I was super into streaks in high school, but then I got into college and I was like, I'm seeing my best friends every day. Like, I don't really need to like snap them. So I
It's
kind
also
of
like,
gave
what
up.
does a number validate?
Yeah,
You know
so
what
it's
I
like
mean?
I kind of gave up on the like streak of it until recently, but that's a different story. And then like my friend who went to St. Michael's like texted me one day. She goes, Kate, she goes, I know you're super good about like checking your phone. That's a lie. And she was like, I want to take a social media break, but like, will you keep my streaks? And in my head, I'm thinking,
That's not a
but
social
like,
media
if
break.
you
That's the
need
point
a
of a
social
freaking
media
social
streak,
media. Yeah.
I was like, if you're taking a social media break, why am I taking care of your Snapchats? And she was like, because, you know, in case I want to like pick them back up. And I was like, but if you want to pick them back up, why not just start a different streak?
That's
but,
like hold this box of cigarettes really in a safe place in case I just want to go.
Yeah,
go
yeah.
come-
I'm gonna,
in case I just want to
smoking.
come grab them later.
I'm gonna quit smoking, but can you just hold on to these for the next
Yeah.
like 10 minutes in case I
So-
decide I want to smoke again?
Yeah.
Right,
But like
right.
I kept her streaks, and then a week later I was like, "Yeah, bet." Like I didn't lose any of them. She's like, "Okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna lose them all." And I was like, "Are you kidding?"
well,
I
at
was
least
like, "Are
at
you
least she
kidding?"
got to that point.
Yeah, honestly,
You helped
but
her. You actually,
Yeah.
you are the.
I
hero
thought
in
that-
this.
I
I
the
was
story
her
was kind of-
sponsor.
that's
I
really
was
the
her
catalyst, so.
Snapchat sponsor. I was
yeah.
I was a part of the de-embarking from.
I've never been much of a Snapchat person. I think like I've never been a big streak person. I don't know. Like, and maybe if it's with like a significant other, like there's some sort of like, but it's not like I think my whole goal of like was never to be like, oh, I don't want to lose a streak, but it's like, oh, I just want to like interact with this person,
Right.
But like I think it's so interesting because I want to say it's like a generational thing, but it's almost like and even then like that the generation gap is like shortening so much, whereas like
Yeah.
my like younger siblings who are like 3 years younger than me, like there's already a huge difference of social media just because
Oh,
of how
for
fast
sure.
everything moves.
Yeah,
it's
So I think
really
then like
quick.
it's just shortening the window of like
Yeah.
that gap.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Personally, I've never been a big snap streak guy. Like the whole like just like single half face picture back and forth every
Yeah.
30. Like I'm like, dude, like what?
There's
are
no
you doing?
point. There's really.
I'm
no
glad you
point.
guys understand that.
The worst is getting a Snapchat from someone like that in the same room.
Yeah. And you're
I'm like, I literally look up and be
Right
like, dude, I hope like this is like some cruel
Just
joke.
pick
you're
your head
playing
up
on
and talk
like,
to me.
Like,
Jesus.
dude, don't do this.
Like knock knock, who's there?
Literally.
yeah.
I feel like nowadays I use Snap more like if I'm going through my day, something funny happened, you know, and I'm like, oh, my friend from school would find this moment hilarious. I'll take like a quick 10-second vid, send
Yeah.
it their way, but I'm not like in constant
Oh, there is a
communication.
gradient for sure.
I for
Yeah.
sure used
Yeah,
Snapchat.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I definitely did in high school. Like I liked it. I just never understood the like I used it in
Yeah.
that scenario. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll send that to my friend. who-
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I never understood the like, hey, like I'm just sending you this picture for the sole
Yeah.
purpose of that number going.
And streaks, like I ultimately like I think streaks are pointless and detrimental like in the end, but like to a certain extent, like if you're not completely attached to it, like if streaks is an afterthought, because for a lot of people it's like, oh, my streak, I need to snap this person, but like if you snap someone and then the streak is an like it. What I'm trying to say is like it's kind of cool sometimes to like be like, you know, someone that you routinely contact. It's like, oh wow, like we've been talking every day for the last like 89 days. And, like, I
Right.
can see
Yeah.
it right here. It's
I
like,
guess
that,
that's true.
That can be cool. You
that
know
would be
what I
cool
mean?
if you were actually talking to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Because
You know
like,
what I mean?
think about if you had
Yeah.
a text, like texting. Obviously, you have to say something. I mean, unless you're just saying hey. But like, imagine if you had like a number next to like your
Right.
texting. Like, this is how many times
Wow.
you've routinely gone back and forth.
That's true.
It would probably soon become
iMessage.
what streaks
Come on, man.
became,
What are you doing?
which is why it would never
People
work.
just
Would be a
spamming people's
apocalyptic.
phones.
I think
Yeah,
people
yeah,
struggle
it would
with
be- it would be
keeping
interesting,
track
though.
of their text messages as it is.
I
Shout out
know.
to Kate's 28 unread messages. on
Okay,
Twitter.
you suck. I just hate checking my
Exposure.
phone. I literally hate checking my phone.
Well, I'll definitely do the thing, and this is all right. Quick Inventors Corner. Okay,
Ooh.
quick Inventors Corner.
Wait,
Another
wait.
segment we do.
Inventors Corner.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we have a little.
I have to do little jingles, guys.
The jingle
Nice,
changes every time.
nice, good.
Every
good.
time there's
Yeah.
a
Do
new
you guys want
jingle.
to do a jingle for Inventors Corner? What do you?
Comment just on the fly. On
Yeah.
the fly.
What do you think? Inventors Corner.
Yeah, we should go to like.
Oh, that was. Oh
Ooh.
shit, that was.
Oh, we're not even doing the Inventors Corner.
No, we're
It's
going to.
just the
No, he
after
started
one?
it and I took it.
Okay,
That was
word.
good. You
I
missed
thought-
out.
I thought
Cam.
that you
That
meant.
was
He
Scott.
it was a
Scott,
volley.
you
It
got
was
the
a
jump.
little
Yeah,
like
I volleyed it
Wait,
back.
wait.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Inventors Corner.
okay.
jingle
So you
is
know when you
just
like
the riff
have a
after.
text message on your phone. You know how when you get an email that you like open and you read it and you're like, oh shit, I need to respond to that, but I can't right now. You can mark it as unread.
No,
Yeah.
because I have 3,000 unread emails.
Okay, that is a thing that you can do.
Well, flag. You got
But
flag.
yeah,
it's
no, I
super-
feel you. I
flag-
feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you.
which is
Yeah,
super
yeah.
convenient because it's like, oh, that's a really important email, but I'm busy right now, and I still want to read it, but I want to remind myself I need to answer it
To
later.
the point where sometimes because they don't have that feature, I will set an alarm on my phone saying like text blank.
Exactly.
Yeah. no,
So
I feel
my
you.
thing is
Yeah.
for iMessage, why don't they let you do that? Why can't I read a message, be like, oh shit, I gotta pull the notes app out and like write myself up a little draft for this text message.
That's fair.
But I don't want to forget about it. Why can't I then mark that text as unread?
Especially because I have read receipts on too. So like that sometimes can come back to bite me.
Oh,
Yeah.
my conversation with Scott about this podcast.
But the thing is, like, I like read receipts though because like even
read receipts or read receipts?
read
Read.
receipts, read receipts,
Read receipts.
Wait, really?
read.
I've
Like,
actually
you read-
always been curious as to why Scott has his red receipts on. So like, I really want to hear
Here's the
this.
answer. Let's get it. Let's get down to it.
I'm very
No,
excited.
but I think for me, I like it because if it were reverse, like I would like to know if this person has read my message or not. Because it's not like I'm trying to send them like a subliminal message of like I'm
Right.
actively not responding.
You don't, but
it's
the
like
amount of angry question marks I've sent to you.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because I can just
Right.
see it.
You
But,
can
like-
see that he read it. You're just like, you
but
bitch.
I think it like just allows. It's like it's honest. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, like I like it's at least showing you that like message received. Like I have read your message.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes it may not require or like warrant a response. Or it's like, hey, like I got this, like, and I'll get back to you. Or like if you're like, hey, like, why aren't you responding? Be like, oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of something, but like you can tell I've read this.
That is-
I don't know. For me, it's just
see?
for me. It's
But
just,
if it
at
was-
least like
You
I know
see?
what
If it was
people are doing.
conversation, obviously text is not conversation. Like you can't treat it as if it was so. But like if
It's
you
bullet
you
points.
were to make like the equivalent scenario, that would be like, hey Scott, like trying to chill today. Just leave. And then Scott just leaves.
Walks away.
That's hard.
So
That's so true, though.
And then like 3 hours later,
Yeah.
he comes back and he's like, I
Or-
can't.
or
I'm
I
busy.
come back.
Like, sorry, I'm busy.
You see, for me, the reason, okay, so I used to have my red receipts on, and then, like, I think I almost, like, the petty side of me turned them off because for the people who had them off, you know? Because, like, I was kind of in the same way where I was like, I want people to know, like, if I've read their message. But then
I
obviously.
want them to know that I'm choosing not to
Yeah,
respond
exactly.
to them.
Yes, no,
I was
I
like,
actually
I
had
would-
mine on for a bit, but it was literally like for like malevolent intentions. I was like, I
Yeah.
want you to know that I'm
I don't know about
ignoring
you. Sometimes I do whip that bad boy back on for a specific person. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Like, you will
you're
know
a
I'm
jerk.
ignoring you.
I
I
want
want
you
you
to
to
know
know.
that I want there to be a timestamp for when I ghosted
Yeah.
you.
But it would be great if you could like make things unread again. I
Yeah.
like my vote is yes.
Okay, great.
Vote yes
That's
on
one
3.
yo-
Yeah.
Vote yes on 3. I think it's 3. We'll check the ballot.
Yeah.
We'll check the ballot.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you on
I'll
that.
get it on.
That could be bad. We got to check what 3 is now.
Let's make it like 17. Something that definitely doesn't have a number.
Yeah.
Vote yes on
Doesn't have a
17.
number.
Okay. Kate, do you have a
Can I-
shit talking strangers?
So here's my favorite
Okay.
segment, gentlemen. It's called Shit Talking Strangers. So I'll do my little intro for it. So you're out in public, you're doing chores, you're doing errands, you're driving somewhere,
You're living your life.
You're getting your coffee, you're doing whatever, and then there's that one asshole who just messed up your entire experience out. And that is the person you get to shit talk in that segment. You don't know their name, you don't know their backstory.
You'll never see them
but
again.
in that moment, they pissed you off, so you can shit talk them. And that's what this segment is for.
So do we get like a prompt? Do you give
Do you,
no,
want,
so-
do you want me to
so
give an
give us, like, a
example?
scenario?
So Kate's gonna tell a story basically, and then if you guys have stories you'd like to share of like, oh, that reminds me
word.
of this
I'm
other
settling
person.
in.
That
This
yeah.
one's a good one.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
So the other day I was driving to work. I was kind of late, so I was trying to speed a bit, but there was traffic. Obviously, we're in Massachusetts, and
Worst traffic in the country.
yeah, honestly, there. So I'm sitting at a light on Route 9, and this guy, like, it's kind of bumper to bumper. This guy is like, you know, when you're in traffic, and this guy is kind of like riding, like somebody's riding your tail a little too aggressively in traffic, because
Yeah.
like if somebody hits them, they're gonna hit you. You're gonna hit, like, it's kind of, you're like, give me
Yeah,
a little
like
space.
get with it, buddy. Yeah.
So I look behind me, and this guy is literally like an inch away from my bumper. And I'm like, all right. So I'm double braking a bit, trying to get him off. And I look in my rearview mirror, and this guy's face literally looks like he's having an orgasm. I'm not even shitting you. His mouth is wide open, his head is thrown back. And then I notice his hand is shaking up and down with one hand on the steering wheel. So I'm looking back, and I realize, like, this motherfucker is jerking off in his car. And I'm literally like, oh my God. And then in my head, I'm thinking, then the scenarios start playing. So I'm like, if this guy hits me, I'm going to have to, like, have a conversation with him about, like, how he hit my car.
Are you sure? Like, how do you
I am
know?
so sure, because I also think I saw the tip. Not gonna lie.
Ooh.
And I was just like,
Before we get any farther, I don't know how anyone could top this story.
You.
I just like
I
I'm
was sitting on
trying-
this one.
I'm trying to like find anywhere in my mind a story that's like similar and possibly of the same caliber, and I just don't know what I could pick.
So like, I feel like you hear the stories of people like pulled over on the side of the road, like at night, like
No,
jerking
this
off.
guy
This is like just middle of the
beating
day.
the meat, and he
traffic,
also
just
was.
had
But
to-
then
God.
I have another evidence. So then I was like, oh my god, because he was in like a lower car too. So I was like, if a truck pulls up right next to this guy, he's gonna look down and get a nice surprise. He was strategically placing his car. Like the reason he was getting so close to me was so that he could like maneuver himself between the two cars next to him in the other lane. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I want to get the fuck out of here. So I like start cutting people off. I'm like, I don't want this guy behind me anymore. I
I'd be
turned
like,
off.
See ya.
And then as he's going by, I just see him like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God.
What if he was just like shaking a packet of sauce or something?
I
like
hope
that?
to
Like,
God,
there's, like,
honestly.
you know, there's like he definitely could have.
Yeah, shaking
my
a pack of
gosh.
sauce with his head his eyes and head going back,
Yeah,
moaning
for-
in his
for
car.
3
That's
minutes.
definitely what that was.
I'm really
That's definitely
sorry
what
you had
was.
that experience. It's
Yeah,
like
I feel
quite
like that should-
traumatic.
I
I feel like
appreciate that. You know
apologies
what?
should
I'm just
follow that.
happy that I kind of like viewed it. I was like, okay.
Jeez.
That's so funny. But yeah, he gets the major shit
that is
talk.
dark.
So
That's
yeah,
tough.
your guys' don't need to be to that level. I just happen to have an interaction with. Like last week,
Right.
I talked about a bunch of kids jumping on me. That was horrible.
Oh, that was.
But, like,
that was
in
arguably worse. I would
That
say,
was
than this
honestly
recent
worse.
one.
That the girl called me her mom. I was super uncomfortable.
Yeah. Do you have
That is
anyone you like to
very
shit talk?
uncomfortable.
Scott can. Oh. You don't have to.
It's like now that I've been invited to, like I don't know what to.
Yeah, you don't have to. I
It's
can
a
also
safe.
go.
Yeah,
We're
I
in
can
a
also-
safe space.
The floodgates are so open right now. Like I don't even know what's going on. I'm like trying to like warp my brain around.
All right,
this.
I'll do
Like,
one.
this is-
I'll
yeah,
do one
yeah,
while
we
you
need-
guys
we need-
think.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if not, it'll just be awkward for everyone, and we'll just have to end the podcast.
Yeah, and then
with
we'll
that.
just end the podcast right there.
no pressure.
So
at
no
all,
pressure.
thanks.
Yeah. Nothing.
Okay, so I have one. So, Scott, you mentioned you're a former athlete. You know, not bragging, but I made the varsity track team. I competed in the meets.
Oh.
I didn't place, but I was there.
Big track
But he
guy.
was there. The validation is worthy.
I played some
I'll
baseball.
validate
I
that.
like an occasional sport.
occ-
I love basketball. Basketball's my favorite sport. I definitely did not play
Troy
in high
Bolton.
school because I was a little wuss in high school, and I was like, I'm short and bad, and
Pussy.
I'm not going to make the team. I wish I had tried. But regardless, I play a lot of basketball now. So I was playing pickup the other day at an outside park in the North End. Shout out North End.
Shout out North End.
Let's
Let's go.
Boston.
On Salem.
Great talent.
What
100%.
road? I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh,
Kari
bold.
playground.
Oh my
go.
God.
Yeah.
A
It's a
little
good playground.
quinkadink.
Got a little pizza afterwards.
Ooh.
Exactly what you need after you play basketball.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we're playing. It's a bunch of kids my age. As I mentioned before, I'm old. It's a bunch of old people. You know, I just called them kids, but it's a bunch of old people playing basketball.
He likes to freshen himself up with the youth once in
the
a
youth.
while.
Get
And
myself
then
acclimated.
it's the classic. It's a classic. We're playing. We're doing. I think we're doing 5-on-5 full court, and then like 3 kids walk up, and they're like 10, maybe 12, and we're like, we're gonna have to let them play with us. Because the problem is, I'm too nice, and like I'm never,
are.
especially for a kid, I'm never gonna be like, yeah, like sorry, we have the court to like a fucking 12-year-old who's
Yeah,
just
I was
like
about to
wants
say, the
play
kid's, like,
basketball.
12.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
oh.
And so they start
Differences of
playing the game.
character.
I scramble to try to guard someone else my own age. A kid walks right up next to me. He's like, I'll guard you. I'm like,
Great.
this
damn
means,
it.
and that's the worst scenario. Anyone ever played sports with a kid?
And
That
the
is
sweating
like,
stops. Yeah, you're no longer working hard. You're
yeah,
now,
I can't.
like,
You
yeah.
can't try.
Yeah.
You have. It's
You're like
It's a lose-lose.
you're like, anybody cold right now? I'm kind of cold.
yeah.
Sweatshirt. I'll toss a sweatshirt on.
It's a
right
lose
now.
lose. If you try at all and like shoot it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, fucking good job scoring on a 12-year-old asshole."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
if you don't try and
Yeah,
the kid
they're like,
scores, you, it's
"Good
like,
job
dude, are
getting
you
scored
serious?
on by a
Like,
12-year-old."
So it's
exactly.
basically you got yourself into a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, exactly. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck that 12-year-old shit talking strangers.
Word shit.
No, he was really
12-year-old.
nice. Shout out Benny.
Shout out Benny. Shout
Benny.
out Benny, the
He had some moves.
12-year-old.
He had some moves. I won't lie.
I'm thinking of a good
Well,
stranger
ooh.
story.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I'm thinking of one. I feel like I have so many good
Just
ones.
if you have so many good ones, literally just say the one that you feel more confident having vigor and shit talking strength behind. Like you genuinely want to talk badly about that person.
One time I was this actually happened last week. I was because
off,
also in
Scott.
Massachusetts, like as we all know as Massachusetts dwellers, that the weather in the wintertime is quite harsh,
Yes.
and it takes a beating on our roads.
Yes.
Fuck construction.
And
It's the
as a
reason I've been
result, there's
late all week.
construction everywhere.
Yeah.
And so there was like on a busy road, this like construction, like doing road work, and it was just this random dude that just literally decided to like be the one that was going to be the one who would direct traffic. And like this is like one of the busiest roads in town, and this dude is like obviously has no training in directing traffic or idea what he's doing. So now there's like
Is he a
huge
town
backup.
guy or is he just random?
I don't really remember if he was a town employee or random. I think we'll keep it that way just to like, make sure like we're not
Animosity.
making it. Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, we're respecting
To
people.
a certain extent.
But this dude was like really not doing well. Like he was like really like messing up. And like he like told this one car be in front of me to go, and then I was like, all right, I've been here for literally 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna like do the type of thing where mass drivers just like follow up behind that car really
Yeah.
close.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they-
yeah. You're just like, oh, I thought you were telling both of us to go.
But
Oh.
Yeah.
then-
What a mistake. My
But
bad.
then this dude like stop, like there's maybe like a 10-foot difference. I'm going 20 miles an hour. This dude just like puts his foot out and stops me like right here, like right before I'm about to go, and he's like, what do you? It's not your turn. And I'm like, dude. The audacity
The audacity. Oh, that's a great.
to
the
tell
audacity.
me that I can't go. Like, who are you? Are you a cop or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like, literally, I was literally like, who are you?
Wait, can you do that? Is that like Departed voice right there? It sounded like Matt.
Departed? Oh, we can get into Boston accents if you like to.
Oh my
but
god.
Oh shit.
yeah, now you've opened the floodgates.
Yeah, I was
my
about to
friend.
say.
No.
Word.
Yeah, that was
fuck that guy.
Word.
Yeah,
Right
shit
there.
talking strangers. Don't direct traffic if you have no training.
Yes.
It's very vital.
All right, Cam.
I'm trying to think of like the time that I've like hated a human being the most.
Whoa.
I'm taking a separate approach to it.
We're being
Yeah.
reflective
All right,
here.
so
I'm
we're-
taking 5.
We're all having fun. We're just like messing around. Cam's like, no, like
I got
want
a
this
good one
person
now.
to die.
I want to
I
have
have a good
vigor
one now.
and zest with my hatred.
I was at school this year. I was at school, and everybody knows the frustration of like, seeing somebody in front of you that like is not going to look up from their phone, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna have to dodge you because
Yeah.
there's no way that you're dodging me. Right?
Sometimes I try to walk into those people.
I do.
show 'em, you know?
I bump
like,
them.
gee, come on, you know what I mean?
And then I do the, are you fucking kidding me look?
Jesus
and then
Christ. Oh, I thought you
my
said
God.
no,
jeez.
but then they do fear me. I find that I've been running into less people
I hope
lately.
they fear you. I hope
But
they.
I think
Yeah, I don't want to be behind that look. Yeah, I'm over. Yeah.
And I was wearing my friend had this jean jacket that was like the cool. Have you seen like that paint? What's that painting with like all the cats and dogs playing poker? You know that one.
the dogs playing poker.
Yeah, is that
I think
the
that's
name?
the
That's
name
what-
of
that's
it.
the title of the
you're right.
painting.
Yeah. So
And there are
that
no
Art school!
cats. Yeah.
that was
Doesn't
like
actually
that was
call
like
dogs playing poker.
painted on the back panel of like this acid
that's
wash jean
super
denim. Yeah, it was
sick.
super sick, like hand painted, like somebody had painted
Ooh.
it. It was like so cool, and he had like let me borrow it for like a couple days.
What
Jeez, Scott.
the fuck, Scott?
What the fuck?
Scott just dropped his
But
microphone.
he had let me borrow it for a few days, right? And like, I'm walking, like to class one day, and it's like this story is gonna sound like bullshit because like it just like sounds like the worst thing ever, and it's because it is. But it's like I'm walking to class, and like you know how like there are certain sidewalks. You judge the density of people walking on the sidewalks to see if you can just stop on the sidewalk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's some sidewalks you can just stop moving and just like let me get my directions right again and then you go.
yeah.
But there's some that you're like you got to step off to the
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
This was not one of those like step off to the side places.
Okay.
I was like pulling out my
You're
stuff,
chilling.
trying to get my directions right. And I feel like just the strangest pressure like up against my back.
Oh, so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then my back gets like super cold, and I turn around, and like I don't know how differently I can explain this, but there's an ice cream store on campus, and
Okay.
somebody was walking with a cone in their hand, and they literally are on their phones,
Oh,
and they
no.
just
Oh no.
into the back of my friend's jean jacket, and it was just like. And it wasn't like it wasn't like vanilla in like a cup. It was like cookies and cream, and then like
yeah.
another scoop of
Sprinkles,
like
hot
moose
fudge.
track. There was like some like gummy, some like real sticky, like it was like butterscotch. But this was all over the back of my shirt, and I wanted to say so many things to this person.
But you held your tongue.
And I was literally, I didn't even hold my tongue. I was so infuriated. Like, this has never happened to me before. I was so infuriated that I turned around and did not have anything to say. I just went and just walked away because there was nothing there was nothing that would come out of my mouth because it was like it was the combination of like, this is gonna happen on the day that I wear this jacket. Like, what are the odds that somebody is just gonna walk into somebody
with an ice cream cone?
I was like, this seems like I'm in a children's picture book right now as there's like melted ice cream.
Yeah, that's not real
dripping
life.
down.
That's
my
not
back.
real life.
It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's like Scott had ice cream spilled on his back. What is, or not Scott, Cam, what is Cam gonna do?
I know. It's like
Just
also cleaning
have
a
a
jean
conniption
jacket
and
just
walk
sucks.
away.
Yeah.
I would have given him a piece of my
Ooh,
mind.
you know, it could have been one of those like pick your own adventure books where it's like it stops right there and it's like, what do you want Cam to do next? And it's like walk away angrily. Like is A. B. Say, you know what, that's okay. Shake the stranger's hand, moved on. C. Punch stranger in the face. D. Take off all his clothes and just run around campus. I don't know.
Who
Choose your own
knows?
adventure.
Honestly, with those
it really was though. It
possibilities.
was like it felt like the option I chose was like
I didn't even
was
list
like
that option. That wasn't even one
it
of
was
the
like it was like
options.
reroute all anger into saying something.
Yeah.
It was like that was the option. It didn't tell me what I was gonna say. It was like reroute all anger into statement.
and then take it out later.
And the statement was
yeah.
Conniption.
I like
Teach,
wish
like,
that and that's why I'm glad that you brought up this segment because there are so many things
You had
that
you
I
had
wish
an
that
outlet.
I could go back
you
and
had
say.
an outlet for your
I
rage.
did have an outlet.
This is good.
And I guess like the only thing that I'm saying, because I feel like I've gotten over my anger, and I feel like the one thing I'd say is like they definitely owe me an ice cream cone
At the very
Like,
least, if not a
at
jacket.
Or a
very
dry
least.
clean at least. Like
Yeah,
God.
or my friend
People
a
are
Venmo for the
assholes.
dry clean.
So
or
wait,
something.
did the person say anything to you, or were they just like,
He was like, I hate bringing up the fact that they were an Asian foreign exchange student that didn't speak English, but they did not speak
you know what?
English.
That sadly is a factor on college campuses.
So that was like that also contributed to my response because like I turned around
You're not gonna be like,
and I guess that's a
Really
judgment in my
mean.
book, but I was like, he didn't say anything to me. He like felt like he was like looking for words, so I was just like, I need to end this interaction before it starts.
got that.
Before it starts.
Honestly, I think that's pretty worse than mine because, like, at least I didn't have to be around the
Yeah.
guy jerking off in his car. You
That's
had
true.
to like
I was
look
like,
at
I
the
was,
think
guy.
you had
I was on my way to
easiest one,
class
Kate, I don't
too.
know.
Yeah, I had class in like 10 minutes. It wasn't like I was like going to lunch or like coming back from
right.
Well, is the jacket
like,
fine?
The jacket was fine after I had to clean it though.
Thank
so-
God. That's what my biggest worry
This has been good. This has been a lot of
Yeah, I was not
healing,
feeling well now.
therapeutic healing. I think we just.
I feel really
encountered.
good now.
I feel
You guys
great.
feel like a weight's
yeah,
been
I
lifted?
feel cleansed.
That was the
Awesome.
purpose of this segment.
All right,
That's why I
guys,
invented it.
We gotta go because the studio is
Open.
probably gonna be open now.
I also have a
thank you
shoot.
for Kate doing big
Woo!
things. Thank you for coming on. They're Juniper. Check them out.
Thank you for having us.
I said it I already said it. Words got to come out better. Here for the first time out now. Album coming out sometime before they die.
That's right.
Hopefully in the next 6 months.
Check them out at all
Very
their
true.
ats on Instagram.
on Instagram. Anything other than Instagram? Twitter. Twitter's dead.
We are
Catch
on
us
Twitter.
Facebook.
Oh, Twitter's not
all
dead.
of our
Twitter's
events are
not
on
dead.
Facebook. So if you
Cool.
want to know like dates for events, definitely check the
Is it Juniper or
Facebook.
Juniper the band?
Juniper. I think it's just Juniper.
It's Juniper. It's Juniper the band for both. We're gonna post everything is on everything. So
Everything
like,
is on everything. That's
Yeah.
the way to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right,
All right,
start with Instagram.
there
Go
we
from
go.
there.
There you
Thanks
go.
a lot, guys.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having
guys.
us.